Only that little
Yeah.
section.
I don't know. The whole thing looks like a shop I could walk into.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, oh, hello, welcome to Brian's Emporium of Weird Shit.
Everything you buy comes with frozen yogurt. I call it Frogurt.
Frogurt. It is
The
also,
Frogurt is also cursed.
but it comes with your choice of toppings. It's a great episode. All right, here we go. Here we go. It's time. It's time. Everybody get in line for the time that we have. The show begins in 3, 2, 1.
For the pursuit of pleasure in our leisure time, cars provide us a personal, a private transportation system.
Office safety isn't really a joke.
The morning stream, a drifter just passing through their town.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to TMS. It is August 15th, 2019. I'm Scott. He's Brian. Hi, Brian. Good morning.
Hello, Scott. How are you?
Fine. I'm a little tired.
Yeah.
I think I could sleep after this show. I think I could just, take a nap, I think.
Well, maybe you should. I mean, is there anything stopping you? What do you have after this on Thursday?
I mean, I've got a giant list of things to do. I'm behind on everything, but I don't feel great this week. Kind of just been a little off.
Yeah.
And I feel like, sometimes we don't listen to what our bodies say. Sometimes our bodies are saying, hey, why don't you just lay down for a minute and just breathe? And you go, no,
being an idiot and sleep.
I have stuff to do, body. And I ignore it. But today maybe I'll lay down.
These video games aren't going to play themselves. I need to be playing games and watching television programs.
Right. There's all that.
I did finally finish the final episode of Legion this morning, by the way. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay. They did stick the landing as far as the ending.
Oh, they get that's good to know. I'm glad to hear that. Because they're done, right? It's done, like never again, no more.
Done. It's done. No more, ever. None. And they do, without really doing it, it's a very nice precursor to X-Men First Class.
Oh, okay. I like that. They didn't really intend to, but I like the way that works, because I like First Class quite a bit.
It's one of my favorite X-Men movies.
Yeah, it's one of the best, for sure.
Maybe second to Logan, if you count that as an X-Men movie, which...
Yeah. Sure.
Kinda, right? Yeah. I mean, kinda.
You got a few X people in it.
Yeah. X gonna bring it to you, sure.
Yeah, X gonna give it to you. That's what I've heard.
That's what it is. Not gonna bring it, gonna give it.
He'll bring it and then give it. It's fine. He can bring it.
It's nice. That's what's nice about X showing up at your house. He brings it and then gives it to you.
It's like the DoorDash of X-Men. Just brings it to you and then gives it to you. So that's great, and that makes me happy because I am going to dive into that soon. I also finished the show yesterday. I finished the season finale of season 3 of the Handmaid's Tale, and man, that show is freaking great. It's really good, and I don't even know why last night's was so effective, but they really nailed it and just got me completely emotionally wrapped up in that thing. And I can't wait for you to catch up. It's very, very good.
Ooh, baby, do you know what that's worth? Ooh, heaven is a place on earth.
So wait, you must be a few episodes in then.
We're 2 episodes from the finale ourselves.
Oh, you're not far. Okay, all right.
Yeah, we have the previous episode and then last night's episode, or this week's episode, the finale episode.
So you did the we did the. Was there one with the Aunt Lydia episode already happen? Where should you get all the backstory on her?
Aunt Lydia backstory, the Aunt Lydia origin story. Yes.
Yeah, that was something.
And it's funny, right at the beginning of that, I kind of called it, like seeing where it was heading. I'm like, oh, this is going to be this is the thing that's going to send her down the path.
Yeah, this is going to set her up nicely to be an aunt or whatever they call her class of deal. It's just great. And if you're up to the second to last, I also liked the penultimate episode quite a bit.
Good.
Super intense, good stuff. But man, that finale is so great. And I'll tell you what, best thing ever having Bradley Whitford in that show. He's great in it.
Yeah. He is great.
He's great. Chris Molini. Am I saying his name right? Chris Molini, Christopher Molini,
Maloney,
Christopher Maloney.
Yes.
Fantastic little turn. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was awful. Horrible human
I
being.
want to say, I think that was the last episode we saw. Basically, the last episode we saw ended with the Kate Bush song "Cloud Bursting," or "Cloud Busting," "Cloud Bursting," "Cloud Busting," I think it is. With the repeated line, "Something good is going to happen," and we were watching some good things happen on the border of Canada. And
oh yeah, it's really good, man.
That's all I got to say. Spoiler, people.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil anything. It's that's a show I would not want to spoil. It's very, very good. All right, I wanted to do something dumb this morning, so I'm going to do it.
Okay. All right.
So enjoy this dumb thing I'm about to do.
This is dumb, Scott. This is dumb.
It's pretty dumb. 1768. That's the number of the episode we're on today. 1768. Okay. 1,768 episodes.
All right. Okay.
Although, somebody pointed out the other day, there's probably parts or points during the show's run where I have either doubled a number or missed a number or whatever. We're pretty close, okay, everybody? So don't get all your exactness in a bunch. 1776.
Well, actually, this is really episode number 1769 because you forgot to number one that was...
Mm-hmm. I mean, the other day, I think it even may have happened a week ago. I think I went like...
Oh, that recent?
Yeah.
Did you number the one with Dan Tabletop Man? Or was that like
we're good there. Yeah, I numbered it.
Okay.
But there's one of these. Let me pull up the RSS. Let me see if I can figure out what we skipped. And again, I don't care enough to fix it, but it was like 50, no. See, 54, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63. Here it is. TMS 1764 is missing, but not really. There's no missing episode. There was no episode. I just I labeled them wrong. You got all the episodes we recorded. I just skipped a number is all I did.
So that's funny. Usually we might, accidentally do two episodes that have the same number, but there just isn't. So there wasn't a 1764.
No, there wasn't. I mean, we had one, but we called it 1765.
We should record a special 1764 episode of TMS.
Yeah. And there's probably others. That's the other thing, is someone else should dig through the entire current RSS and archive and see if they can find any others. And then maybe we'll do something special around those. I don't know. Like they're missing, like they're some top secret show we never released to the public, but really I just screwed up the numbers. But anyway, today is 1768, and as a result, I thought I would tell you what happened on this day or in this year of 1768. Okay.
All right.
So not on this day. We don't care about that. But in the year 1768,
and this is super close. Like this is I'm sorry, doing my math wrong. 8 years before 1776. So like we're leading up
right
to 1776.
Right, and some of these are, I think, indicative of that lead up. In fact.
Okay.
For example, on April 9th of that year, 1768. John Hancock, remember him? He his name signed the thing, and now everyone says, "Give me your John Hancock."
Yeah, he's the guy who's. I just assume his notebook is just covered with his signature, like a 12-year-old girl's peachy folder with Justin Timberlake.
Oh yeah, because he's John. Because he's John Hancock. He's required to his whole life.
Justin Bieber, Mrs. Sally Bieber, Sally Bieber, Esquire,
Bieber. Well, on April 9th on that year, John Hancock refuses to allow two British customs agents to go below deck on his ship. He had a boat. Considered by some to be the first act of physical resistance to the British authority in the colonies. So he was in the colonies. The British were coming. The British custom agents were trying to get his shit, and he wouldn't let him go. He wouldn't let him go down.
I was going to say, there have been times when I've come across a couple customs agents that I don't let go below deck.
Yep.
If you know what I mean.
Sure. You could tell them stay above the equator there, Chief.
That's right, exactly.
So that was a big deal. And then on February 15th of that year, this is a big deal, the first mustard was manufactured in America. And it was advertised, and it was in Philadelphia is where it happened, where a lot of things happen. But that year,
really?
in the colony, first mustard was manufactured. So you could go buy a bottle of mustard for the first time. Yeah.
Surprising that mustard came from Philly. Like you'd think, I mean, cream cheese, we know, came from Philly. As you know, cream cheese came from Philly.
Well, do we know that cream cheese came from Philadelphia, or did that come from somewhere else and Philadelphia just made it famous?
It probably just came from somewhere else. I bet it's French. It's Neuchâtel cheese or something like that. Neuchâtel.
Sounds right to me.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I would have thought mustard. I mean, mustard came from the French, right? French is mustard. Didn't mustard come from?
Well, there's other. Here it is. Archaeological excavations in the Indus Valley, that's the Indian subcontinent, have revealed that mustard was cultivated there first. The civilization existed about 1800 BC. The Romans were probably the first to experiment with the preparation of mustard as a condiment, though. They mixed unfermented grape juice. They called that the must. I don't know what that means. With ground mustard seeds called synapis to make burning must, or would later be called hence mustard or mustard. Forget, no emphasis on the tard. It's ard.
Mustard.
Yeah, and they would use it a lot for like spit roasted boar and that sort of thing. So it looks like we owe the Romans for it. There you go.
So glad the etymology does not focus on the part turd of mustard. Like, oh yeah, it's mouse turds that we've mashed up and mixed with yellow paste, and we call it mustard.
Right. And we, by the way, the French's part, we made that up. That was just a company in 1904 here in America at the St. Louis World Fair, where French's mustard was introduced by the RT French Company. So there's that. So anyway, the point is, in America, we had never made any of our own mustard until 1768, which is impressive.
Yeah. And now we're making mustard ice cream. Welcome to the future, everybody.
Oh my gosh, how far we've come, or fallen, I guess. I don't know. How about this one? On June 21st, this is a big deal. Your dad would like this one. June 21st, first medical diploma in America granted to Dr. John Archer from the College of Philadelphia. Again, Philadelphia. Sort of the hub of activity during the colonial days here in America. First diploma. I wonder who the first turn and cough was. Who the first finger in the bum. Who was that?
Again, Philadelphia, though. I mean, look at Philly, all up in the business. I mean, it's not like we had a whole bunch of cities back then. We didn't have Reno, Nevada back in 1760.
Didn't have any of that.
Well,
Philadelphia.
I mean, there was a place, but there was no.
Well, let's see. Philadelphia was were they the first colony? I don't know. I've forgotten all this stuff from school. Colony.
I thought Delaware, but I could be. I mean, Delaware was the first state.
The history of Philadelphia, as told by Philadelphia.org. Largest city in Pennsylvania at the time of the American Revolution, was the largest and most important of city in America, founded by William Penn as a place of religious tolerance. Its spirit infused the early steps toward independence. First settlers, blah, 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 boring, Let's go down here. Let's see. Benjamin Franklin is from there, so he's their most famous citizen. First and Second Continental Congress were held there. That was just like the hub. That was the place, man. That's where everything got.
That's where everyone's hanging out. It wasn't Dover.
No.
People weren't hanging out in Dover.
No, nobody hung out in. Where was Dunder Mifflin? Where was that?
That was in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, nobody was in Scranton.
No,
messing around there. No, that was all Philadelphia. Now they got the cream cheese and the mustard and the pretzels and the cheesesteaks. You can either get those over here at Tony's cheesesteaks, or you go across the street to Mike's cheesesteaks. Yep. Anyway, it turns out, so on thisday.com is what I used. It turns out most of what they cover for this year of 1768 all have some connection to the American Revolution looming.
Sure.
Because that was just the big deal, right? Like there's a few other things, like a slave ship from France sunk in Norway. The first edition of the Encyclopedia Britannica was published in Scotland. There's a few things like that. But most of this stuff is like British troops are encroaching on the colonies. The French king is a dick. George III is a butthole. Like just a lot of stuff like that. So good stuff. How about this one? Here's a boring one. St. Isaac's Cathedral is founded in St. Petersburg, Russia. Ooh.
St. Isaac's Cathedral. Is that that's not one I'm familiar with in I guess Red Square's in Moscow. St. Petersburg.
Yeah, me neither. Let's
you think
see.
of
St. Isaac's Cathedral. Is that still there, I wonder? Because that was pre-Soviet. St. Isaac's Cathedral. Let's see if we can get a view of it. Oh, that's a lovely building. It's still there. Oh, wow. That's beautiful. Here, chat room, you should see this. This is a thing to see. That is, it almost looks like somebody redid the White House. Here, I'll put it in the
really?
thing.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta see this. It's kind
our
of
discussion here.
kind of interesting. There.
There we go. Oh, wow, no kidding.
See what I mean? It's like it's almost like cosplay for the White House or something.
It kind of is, yeah, or for for Capitol buildings across the country with the dome and
yeah, it's gorgeous.
Very interesting. And that one was founded also in 1768.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, that was built then. So look, I guess what I'm saying is today's episode is a very important episode. We got all kinds of shit going on that happened in history. So there you go. All right.
It's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Should we do the news? What do you think about that?
Let's do the news.
All right. I think we can handle it. Where's my thing? Maybe I can't. Okay, here we go.
This is your radio newscaster with another exclusive sensational summary of world and local events.
Hey, check it out. It's the news, and it is brought to you by
Jambalaya Leftovers. Ask for him by name.
That's what I had last night. Not that was good for me because my tummy's all messed up, but I still ate it.
It's good for the soul, is what that is.
That's the weird thing, is even though I feel kind of under the weather and gross, I don't have any loss of appetite. I've been eating just fine. So,
one of these days, Scott, Tina and I got to be in Salt Lake City, and we are fully going to expect jambalaya. We're going to require it as a
100%.
as a meal, prepared meal, because we've never had it. I'm trying to remember what Kim made when I stayed out there when we did the that panel thing.
Did she not make it when you were
I
here?
remember, no, but we had the asparagus that
that was good.
You touted beforehand, and it lived up to every bit of its name.
Yeah, she knows how to do those really well. That's a crime that we've never that all of the Nerdtacular pre-shows or all of the times you've been here, you've never had her jambalaya. Because
we couldn't wrestle. We'd never be able to wrestle Josh Mayu away from the grill long enough to make something other than burgers and hot dogs, right?
Yeah, that guy was basically Grill Master 2000. He didn't want to get off of there. How's he doing? He's got like 3 kids now or something, right? What's he doing?
I think just 2.
Oh, just the 2? Okay.
Yeah.
I just haven't heard from him.
But they're doing well. I heard from them around my birthday, and they're both doing very, very well.
Do you see them as like you used to see him? You used to see him kind of often.
No. It's difficult with with them, especially with the younger kids. Mm-hmm. They don't make it up to Denver very often, and we really have no reason to go down to Colorado Springs for anything.
Sure. Go down there and witness the conservative hotbed of politics that is.
Yes, exactly. That's about all we could do, is we'd be able to go there and do that. That's it.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get to today's musings. A man stole a cell phone while sitting in court on unrelated charges. This is, to me, if you're going to be a criminal, you may as well just go all in like this guy. So here's what he did.
Yes, exactly.
Courtroom is a hall of justice where crimes are paid for, not committed. That is, unless you're a bold Michigan man who allegedly stole a cell phone while sitting in court on an unrelated charge. The East Point man was awaiting sentencing in Macomb County, Circuit Court in Mount Clemens in connection with a 2017 traffic violation, according to news released by a county prosecutor named Eric Smith. That's when he saw an opportunity too good to pass up. An unattended phone sitting on a bench. Courtroom video footage shows the man sitting down behind his prize, or next to his prize, beside it rather. Inconspicuously, words are hard today, placing his hat over it, so he puts his hat on it, okay?
Right.
And then maneuvered the phone into his pocket, seemingly unnoticed.
Brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. It's the old shell and cell phone game.
Yep.
Just which has it under.
Yep.
So this is the funniest part, though. He was in there for a traffic violation.
Yep.
Like I was thinking, oh sure, like it's this guy who's going to prison. He's going to grab a cell phone and then he's got a way of communicating to the outside world. But he was just in there for a traffic violation, like something minor that
And
he
now
probably would have paid a little fine and walk out.
And now he's committed of like full-on larceny, or I guess, or whatever you call stealing a thing. Is that larceny?
The felony, grand larceny, sure, right?
Sure, is it? I don't
Well,
know.
I guess not grand larceny. It has to be over a certain amount to be grand. Does it have to be over $1,000 to be grand
I don't
larceny?
know how that works. How does grand work?
This is the show where we're going to educate ourselves and take the audience with us.
I mean,
We're gonna just we're learning stuff today. What is grand larceny? It is over a legally specified amount.
okay. So petty theft is under 300. Petty theft under 1,000. That must be right. So grand.
Oh, wow. So it's like grand is in $1,000 larceny.
Okay.
I love that. It's so literal.
All right. Petty
Grand
theft, grand
larceny.
theft. All right. Petty theft. Petty Theft Auto would be a fun video game spinoff from Grand Theft Auto, wouldn't it? That'd be all right.
I'm just gonna borrow your car here. I'm gonna leave you my watch as collateral. Here's let me sign this document here that says I will return your car.
Yeah. I think you just steal a scooter that's like worth
You only
$600.
steal right, exactly.
Yeah.
You only steal big wheels and
Yeah. little $600 Vespas. That's it. You're still just a petty theft. Well, anyway, he does this, and now they have courtroom footage of it. Quote, the audacity of this defendant is alarming. He is already in court awaiting sentencing on multiple unrelated charges. It says multiple. I don't know what that means. But anyway, he said in this release, and yet he is captured on video breaking the law once again. Breaking the law.
breaking the law.
The owner of the phone noticed it missing and asked for assistance from the courtroom deputy, who reviewed the video footage and found the culprit. The man is being charged with larceny in a building for a 4-year felony. Or a 4-year felony, potentially.
There's actually something called larceny in a building.
Yep. Larceny in a building as opposed to what? Larceny in the park? Larceny in the...
Larceny on a train.
Right.
Larceny on a plane. I would not do it with a goat.
And the
I
word
would not have larceny on the boat.
the word larceny is starting to sound weird. Doesn't that starting to sound weird?
Larceny.
Larceny,
Yeah,
larceny,
exactly.
larceny.
That's what you get when you have Dr. Seuss write our laws, people.
Yep. If I had a monkey, I'd name him Larceny. I think that'd be a good name for a monkey, like a little spider monkey, because they steal shit all the time, right? They're always taking stuff.
Well, they fling
larceny,
poo too.
and they poo, right? But they'll poo and they'll steal. So call him Poo Bags Larceny. That's his full name.
I think you're making a generalization about monkeys that I don't feel comfortable with, Scott. Maybe you had an experience with a thieving monkey at one point, but it doesn't mean they're all thieving monkeys. Just because that monkey in Raiders of the Lost Ark, who did he steal date? No, I guess he didn't steal dates. I guess he kind of caught and ate a date or something, right?
Well, he was eating a date.
Oh, he's eating the date. That's
And
right.
then-
Sala threw the date up in the air. Indiana Jones caught it and said, "Don't eat that."
No, it's the other way
Poison.
around, backwards. It was Indiana Jones threw it in the air.
Indiana Jones, right?
Yeah.
And Sully
Sully.
Sala caught it and said, "Bad dates." That's right.
Right, bad dates, Indy. Except he doesn't laugh like I always make him laugh. But,
Like Dr. Hibbert.
yeah, he doesn't laugh at all. But yeah, little monkeys, they take stuff, and the one my dad owned pooped all down his back while he was driving a car.
Ugh.
Yeah, they're mean little things. They're not very cool.
All right. Thieving monkeys.
Oh, that's so funny to me. We went there with
We got
monkeys.
away with it. A word for those thieving monkeys.
Thieving monkeys. Poop bag larceny.
Crime ring. Monkey crime ring.
Monkey larceny crime ring. Larceny in a building with a monkey. These are all movies
Yeah.
I'd watch. I'd watch all these.
Yeah, I know. They sound like Steven Seagal movies.
Oh, yeah. Larceny in a building.
Larceny with monkeys. On Deadly Monkey.
Is he doing anything new? I wonder. What's he doing?
Oh, just practicing his pronunciation of the word Putin.
Yeah, probably just working on
Vladimir
that.
Putin.
Let's see if I can find out. All right. According to IMDb, current projects in the works for actor, writer, producer, what's the word? Self-defense man, whatever, guy.
Sure, self-defense man.
What am I trying to say? Martial arts expert. That's
It's
what I
like the
meant.
most boring Stanley superhero ever, right? Self-defense man.
Yeah.
Really doesn't get involved with anything unless he's pulled into it, and then he just defends himself. Excelsior.
Oh my gosh! I just found. I'm glad I looked this up. It's in. It's only been announced, but he is doing Above the Law 2.
Oh, of course.
When was the first Above the Law? Hold on. That was back in the 90s, right? Yeah, his first movie was Above the Law in 88. 1988, and he's playing that same character in Above the Law 2 in 2020. Oh, that's exciting. He was just recently Jake Alexander in a movie called General Commander. I don't like that name.
Yeah, what was the last all right, here's a good question. What was the last Steven Seagal movie you saw in the theaters? Not for Film Sack, because we know that we had that weird one with like he was twins or something at the very end, or no, it wasn't twins.
Right.
What was the deal? It was
yeah, what was that? He was
something at the top of a building. I blew that thing out of my mind as quickly as it entered.
That was a horrendous film. I think Under Siege. It would have been like 92. I haven't seen anything. Oh, no,
Yeah.
that's not true. What's the one where he was on the poster but only lived for like 5 minutes?
Yes, Mysterious Connection. No, it was
Roseanne. No. Glimmerman. No.
it was the one where he died outside the plane. Kurt Russell film, Executive Decision. Thank you, Rainbow Bright.
Executive Decision. That's it. You're right. That's it.
Mysterious Connection.
That was the last one. That's the last one I saw. Listen to these names. You know what? Let's play a little game. Can you tell if these are real
right.
Steven Seagal movie film names or if these are fake? If I'm making them up, okay?
Okay. All right. Then I won't pull it. I was in the process of pulling up his IMDb. I will close the process of pulling him up on IMDb.
How about this one? The Fire
Okay.
Down Below.
Oh well, that one. Yeah, isn't that the one where he's a Native American?
I don't know. Is he? I don't remember that. Did he play Native American? Is that a thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh. All right. Hold on. My mouse just.
It's one where he defends someone who needs defending.
How about this one?
The one where he
where someone needs defending. Great. That's perfect.
yeah.
How about
Self-defense man.
How about China Salesman?
I'm gonna say that's a fake Steven Seagal movie title.
You would be. Hold on. I'll give you the full treatment here. That is a correct title of a thing.
China salesman?
Yeah, China Salesman.
Is he someone who goes door to door selling China? Please tell me that's the case.
His name is Lauder, and that's all it says. I can't tell anything else.
Oh.
All right. How about Contract to Kill?
Oh, I believe that's a real one.
End of a Gun.
Well, I feel like you're looking at these on IMDb, so I'm going to say that's another real one.
All right. How about Fire Up There?
Yeah, that's fake because you're basically taking Fire Down Below. And
Or whoops, I mean, yes, you got that right. Code of Honor.
oh, for sure, that's a Steven Seagal thing.
All right, well done. How about this one?
Over Siege.
How about The Onion Movie?
The Onion movie. This feels like it's a possibility, like a little National Lampoon kind of comedy, bunch of different skits kind of thing, and they might have talked him into it for a sum. I'm going to say The Onion movie is real.
You are correct. He played a character named Cock Puncher.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Had to be, yeah.
All right. Attack Force.
Shoot, this actually sounds like it could be both real and fake. Attack Force. I'm going to say fake.
It's real.
Oh, it's real.
They're all like this. Listen to these stupid names. Kill Switch, Against the Dark, Driven to Kill, The Keeper, A Dangerous Man. Oh, he was in Machete. I didn't know that. Wait, is that the Robert Rodriguez movie that I never saw?
Yeah.
I never saw Machete. Did you see Machete?
I think didn't we see it for
I don't think so.
did we watch it for Film Sack? Again, that's a frequent phrase with me.
I don't think
The
so.
older
I
I
think
get.
we saw you might be thinking of The Badass again, because I think it's the only Trejo-led thing we've seen. I could be wrong. You hear he saved some little kid from dying in a car wreck? Did you hear about
Yes.
that?
Yes, because he's badass Danny Trejo.
That's awesome. The article never mentioned though, but his wife, I guess, helped him. That was with him.
By the way, when you do a search for a Machete film sack,
Yeah.
In Google, you get 5 movie posters for Machete and then a picture of Randy Jordan.
Wow. Why is that?
I don't know, but it's fantastic. Like,
Machete
see what works on yours.
film sack. I'm using DuckDuckGo. Let's see if it's any different.
Oh, yeah, mine.
Oh, yeah, mine's different. It says
Okay.
first link I get is Hard Target.
Really?
Yeah.
You do a search for Machete film sack and you get Hard Target?
I get Hard Target. I get an actual film sack link to Matchstick Men. Let's see. The Village.
See, look at the photo I just put in.
Just put it in the hooch.
In
Oh, yeah,
Discord.
look at that. That's hilarious. Oh, you know what that's from? That photo's from our website, so they must be pulling from that.
Yeah, it's saying exactly.
Is Machete any
from
good, or is that a dumb thing? Should I just not care and never watch it, or is it cool? Like, what's Machete like? Is it good?
Why do I feel like? I feel like I've seen it, and I can't imagine saying to myself, "I'm going to watch it," knowing that at some point we're going to watch it for film sack. You know, it's.
It does have that. Yes, that has that feeling of like, why would I burn this now when I know I'm going to have to watch this again with you guys? That is kind of how it feels. And wasn't Machete? It was in that Tarantino Rodriguez.
Desperado.
No.
Oh no, not
The other one,
From Dusk Till Dawn.
No, the one that they did where they made two.
Oh, Grindhouse
thing, and then this was like a fake commercial, and then they decided to make it the thing.
Right, it was the trailer between Planet Terror and was Grindhouse the name of the other one, or Grindhouse was the pair of was called. Was
I think
the pair of them,
Grindhouse was the pair, and it was supposed to be like this old '70s drive-in thing.
Death Proof, that's right, Death Proof and Planet Terror, and that's right, and then they did this Machete trailer. And I guess people said, we want this as a movie. And so Robert Rodriguez said, sure, okay, I'll do this.
I mean, the pictures are making me want to see it. Except for these naked ladies. All right.
That doesn't make you want to see it?
I mean, I don't know. They're blurred out.
What?
I don't know if I want to see sexy ladies crawling all over Danny Trejo or not. I don't know if that's the thing I want. We'll see. We'll see. Mike Tyson in the news. Let's talk about Mike Tyson for a second. The heir to the Tyson chicken fortune. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is the boxer. Sorry, I got that wrong.
Oh, that one. That Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Tyson.
Yeah, not the one with the chicken chunks. Anyway, he claims that he smokes $40,000 of marijuana every month at his ranch.
Wow.
$40,000 in pot per month.
Is it a little bit of expensive pot or a lot of cheap pot?
Let's see. He's not only been quite an advocate for marijuana while hosting his podcast called Hot Boxin', but he also explained the extent of his marijuana use in the latest episode of that show. That's a thing.
Hot boxing is a pot term that I believe, and I could be wrong, but it's smoking pot in a smaller room so that you're inhaling all the smoke from it as well, like the secondhand smoke.
That's what a hot box is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think so. I could be wrong, but
wow, he has a lot of famous people on. Thank you, hon. My wife brought me some relief. All right, so let's play the intro of his podcast. I'm just curious about it.
Okay. God. Okay.
Oh wait,
What is up, YouTube?
What was the most expensive piece of jewelry you ever bought, Mike?
Listen, right?
You had the gold chains.
Yeah, but I bought a gold chain for like $7 million.
What? Wow.
God, really? Is that all that is? Is just them talking about how much money they spend on stuff? Boring.
I hear that in 2 or 3 minutes in, they start talking about what happened in 1768.
Shoot, I thought we were the first to do that. That's a bummer. Anyway, he says he was hosting the show, and he says what we do with
John Hancock didn't let a couple of customs agents go down below deck. trying to do the lisp.
It's pretty good.
Mustard was invented.
Yeah, you're kind of getting him.
I need to workshop that one.
He says, what do we smoke a month? Tyson asked his co-host, Eben Britton. He says, it's about $40K a month. It's 40. Yeah, $40K a month. We smoke 10 tons of weed at the ranch a month, says Britton. I guess this guy's is like part of his posse.
Yeah.
Tyson broke ground on a 40-acre ranch earlier this year, both to grow marijuana and research the effects of the drug. Really? The new company said on its website it aims to create better cannabis for its customers. Great.
Yeah, he's researching the effect. Yeah.
Getting high in his
Just
own
like-
supply is what I would say he's doing.
That's right. I researched the effect of how sushi tastes. That's
Yeah.
my how gambling feels.
Yep.
I'm doing a gambling research project.
Yeah.
I barely did any gambling, by the way. Had this whole weekend in Vegas, and
Oh, yeah, we never
only
talked
played-
about that. You didn't do any of that?
I played craps once, or like one session for maybe about 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
Did some slots a little bit, but really that was it. I mean, it was a lot of running around. It was okay. So
Ooh.
there were 7 of us total in this little group.
Okay. Gonna hear a
And,
story there. I like this.
At times, it was like herding cats.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you know, it's like, all right, well, we got to get down the strip to, we basically have this dinner reservation. We need to get down the strip. We can kind of take a leisurely pace and you know, walk down there at our regular pace. Oh, cool. Oh, by the way, I brought some chips that I need to cash in at Planet Hollywood. Do you mind if we stop in there? Oh, yeah, no problem. All right, so let's make a little detour, go in Planet Hollywood. Start walking to the cashier's cage. Ooh, a Dolly Parton slot machine. Let's play. Oh, really? Okay. All right, well, let's do that.
Dolly Parton.
10, 15 minutes later. Oh, I need to go to the bathroom. All right, we'll wait for that person to go to the bathroom. Then we got to start making our way, because now we're getting a little close to our reservation.
Yeah.
That person comes back from the bathroom. Oh, you know, I need to go to the bathroom too. So another person goes to the bathroom. It's like, oh my God, people, do I need to put those leashes on you like parents have with their toddlers?
Yeah, they've forgotten. They've forgotten how to hold the reservation.
Exactly. Like I did some planning on some reservations and stuff, and left big swaths of time wide open so that we could get from place to place, and also people would have time to do whatever they want in between things. But they'd wait until right before there was a scheduled dinner or something to like all of a sudden decide, let's do this. Oh, shiny object. Let's look at this shiny object. Hey, there's something shiny over there.
Brian's I've always known you to be very organized and on point and ready to go and prepped and all of that. So whenever that sort of stuff happens, I know it's somebody else in the group. I just know it. Like when you guys were like incredibly late for that dinner last time we were in Vegas. Remember that dinner we went to?
Yes.
That wasn't. And the whole time I went, this isn't Brian's fault. I know this isn't Brian's fault.
No,
it's somebody
not me.
else.
No, I listen. I can tell people now because it's after the thing. If you go to coverville.com/50 FIFTY and enter the password hard8 HARDEIGHT, no spaces, just hard8, no, all lowercase, you'll actually see my itinerary for this trip, and you can see it's like, all right, we've got this plan and we've got this plan, and that's it, and then this, and we have a time for this and a time for that, and that's it. Everything else, do what you want to do. We got plenty of time, whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm doing the password. I just want to get in here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is very, very, very basic, very simple.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. Yeah. Yeah, you're just. Yeah, it's just that the homies you hang with aren't down with the timing. They just want to.
Not super speedy homies.
No.
Yeah.
Slow homies. Anyway, Mike Tyson's kind of a rapey bastard, so I don't know why we're talking about him.
He is a rapey bastard. Yes.
You know, he went completely bankrupt at one point from the three. So he won $300 million as a boxer and then lost it all. I don't know where he's getting it now. Where are you getting $40,000 to burn? I don't know where that comes from. I don't know what you
endorsements
do.
Or I mean, I guess is he endorsing anything? What is he doing?
I don't know.
He can't be making it all from his podcast.
I don't think so.
Silly.
I don't know how he's doing it. I mean, and how is the podcast anything more than just kind of? I mean, are anyone here listening to that show? Like, is it good? Is it like the kind of show that would? Is it just like a rubberneck kind of? Oh my gosh, I got to hear this train wreck every week, or is it good?
Yeah, maybe.
He has
maybe.
like
I
actual.
bet you get a mix of people who are like big fans of his boxing career and also fans of what he's done since, or the kind of name that he made for himself with The Hangover and shoes and endorsements and stuff like that. But I don't think he's doing anything.
He's doing well enough to spend $40,000 on pot, I guess.
Yeah,
just got that money. He also has Yeah, mashed potatoes.
Ashley says, "No, I'm too busy listening to the show where two guys talk about what happened in the year of the episode number they're in, and throw shade on kleptomaniac monkeys." Sure.
I mean, you know what you're getting into here, though. You know what's up.
Yes.
We have to earn.
Exactly.
We earn the stupid. So, get in line.
Wow, Mike
Whatever that
Tyson. According to Pops and Recline, he sent me a link to Money Inc. where you can see Mike Tyson's net worth, which is currently at about $3 million, which feels low for what he's done.
Well, he had $300 million at one point.
Yeah, exactly. He has posted a video called Mike Tyson's Top 10 Rules for Success.
Okay,
That's kind of funny.
Wow. I hate to see number 9. I mean, number 10 appears to be get $3 million back, but
That's right,
1 through
exactly.
9 is. Whew.
Fight somebody's ear off.
So wait a minute. How long would it take to burn through $3 million if you're spending $40K a month in your own pot? I wonder what that goes like. Let's see. 3 million. I'm gonna do the math here. 3 million. Oh my gosh, I can't type. That's not 3 million. 3 comma 000 comma 000. That's 3 million, right? Three
and then 6 zeros
6
after
zeros.
it is 3 million.
Yeah, that's what we got there. Okay, so we got that, and we're gonna say divide that by 40K.
Sure.
Divided
That's
by
a 4 with 4 zeros after it.
Well, a 4, a 0, and then comma, and then 1, 2, 3.
You
All
need
right.
to worry about the comma.
The number is it will take him 75 months to burn through that money.
Oh, right, because it's 40,000 a month, right?
Yeah,
Sure.
So 75 months. I mean,
it's,
not that he had. I'm sure he has other expenses.
6 years, little over 6 years.
Yeah, so 75 months divided by
12
is. Oops, why didn't that work?
should be a little over 6 years.
Divided by 12. 6.25 years.
Yeah.
Exactly what you said. So if he keeps going at this rate and doesn't make enough on his pot business to cover it, he'll be out of money again. That's a lot of money.
I'm guessing that there's a little bit of exaggeration in the 40,000 a month. I think that he has somebody who buys the pot for him, and they probably tell him, "Yeah, I need another 40,000, Mike. Yeah, we're out of pot. Give me another 40,000."
You're probably right.
Also, if he is quote unquote growing and doing research on pot, he's probably making money from that, right?
Yeah.
He's got a 40-acre ranch.
Yeah, he's probably doing okay from other things.
I don't know where he's.
There's probably a little bit of shady stuff going on. I don't know. I don't want to assume anything.
I don't know.
He's had a history of shady shit. But boy, he sure could punch back in the day. We'll give him that.
That's right.
Hey, here's a cool thing. This New York City-based director found himself on a private jet experience, but only paid for a passenger flight. He got the whole thing to himself because of a screw-up in reservations. So check this out. He put this video up online. His name is Vincent Pione. He told news outlets he landed on a solo trip after his morning Delta flight separated by SkyWest Airlines out of Aspen, Colorado, was grounded last week. He was given 2 travel alternatives. One flight, I love this because it has Colorado and Salt Lake City connections. Part of the way I did it.
Cool.
It says one flight around noon and another later in the evening, which he selected. He told NBC News. That flight bound for Salt Lake City, Utah, was the first leg of his trip home to New York, where he was headed to see his grandfather in the hospital. When I arrived at the gate, the tiny airport was completely empty, so I approached the lady at the gate who told me I would be the only passenger, he told NBC News. He wasn't sure there was a need to make an announcement, but told her, "Oh, please make the announcement," and pulled out my phone. Everybody in the Sky team from that point on got a kick out of it and played along beautifully. So basically got her to go, all passengers for flight, whatever, please board now if you're in zone, whatever,
Right.
even though they know he's just the one guy.
And totally. Oh, I'm hoping they go through the entire spiel of explaining how the seatbelt works and where the exit doors are. And
It's so good.
sir, are you paying attention? Please take your headphones off, sir. Please listen, please.
It's so good.
And
And he got
we have
to
2 overwing.
he got to
exits,
shake the... he went-
bathrooms are located in the back.
Yeah, tell him where the... make sure you come around with a cart. Just the one big cart.
Right.
Come back
Right,
around
the
for
one
the
cart
cups.
with all the drinks. What can I get for you, sir?
It's awesome. But this has happened before. I've heard of this happening. It happens sometimes, right? Like it's a thing. The video. Well, now the video is playing. Is he?
God, they had to lose so much money on that, right? Because I mean, it costs. It's so expensive to fly a plane from one place to another.
Oh yeah,
the
for sure.
Gas and the whatever charges you get from going to airports. I think they charge you, right? They say you have to pay. You can fly here, but you're going to pay X amount to land.
Yeah, it's going to cost you money. This Aspen Airport is this tiny little. You guys have an airport in Aspen? I guess you do.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little walk out on the. You walk out on the tarmac kind of deal.
Go up a little ladder kind of thing. Yeah. One gate.
Haven't done that in a long time. I did that when we used to go to Idaho. We used to go to Declo, Idaho. Or no, where was it? Wherever it was like a little puddle jumper shit plane. And it was great. Anyway, well done, that guy.
I remember the last time I actually walked on one of those roll up to the side of the plane staircases.
Ages for me.
It has been, yeah.
20-something years.
Maybe Hawaii or maybe...
Oh yeah, TVZ Gun says that's the way the Provo airport. Yeah, we have municipal airports out here too, and they're all like that, I guess. I just don't have any reason to use them. But yeah, small regional airports. Tom was talking about how I guess now there's like really uber cheap commuter flights from LA to Salt Lake for like nothing, like $30 or something. I can't remember what it was. It's super low.
Wow.
So he and I were talking. We should do some like little quick trips, you know? Like he could come in the morning, do some stuff, and be gone that afternoon.
No kidding. For $30 round trip or $30 each way?
I assume each way. It's something like that, like $60 a flight, which is pretty crazy.
I wonder what it would cost from me to go to... Let's look up the old Sky Scanner.
Sky Scanner.
I do love this app. Sky Scanner. And let's say that on a moment's notice, we decided, all right, Brian, why don't you come here and do TMS?
Do like a live TMS special?
Live TMS.
Sure.
Yeah. So let's see here. Salted Lake City.
Salted Lake City.
And I'm going to plan this out like I'm leaving and arriving the same day.
All right.
We're going to say August 20th, so we're going to say next week, Tuesday.
All right.
I'm not doing this, Scott. Don't
No,
worry,
I know. But it'd be like this is a good experience because it'd be like a week, right? And that's how you would probably do it.
Expensive, $247. But then again, I mean, that is like only 5 days away. If I were to plan it further in advance, maybe there's some little puddle jumper. But also, it's not pulling up things like, and it may be because I've got settings on here to not include Spirit or JetBlue or.
Oh, it could be.
Anything like that.
I can't remember what he tried to explain to me. This is before he left, so now I won't know until he gets home. But I could probably text him. But he described it, and it seemed pretty neat. Like it was just a really cheap way to do it, and it was set up because there's a lot of commuting happening between SLC and LA. Oh, yeah. Like a lot of people.
Here we go. $57 if I do just planning ahead and saying, all right, let's pop over someday in October. $57 round trip.
Jeez, that's not bad. See?
No. Yeah.
57 round, that's
so October 9th, if I want to fly out there on Frontier, $60 round trip.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Let's just do it, Scott. I'm going to come out there. We're going to do a live TMS. I'm going to fly back that afternoon.
Let's do it the week Kim's in. Kim might be going to London with a friend. If she does that, you should come here and we'll just crash. It'll be great.
Video games and Doggeritos all day long.
Can you imagine? Brian will be so off his frickin' diet.
Oh yeah, exactly. Weight Watchers doesn't even have Doggerito in its list.
No.
Search functions.
All right, my favorite story of the week. Before we take our break, a man wearing a TV on his head, kind of grosser from Grosse Pointe Blink style. Caught on camera leaving old TVs on Virginia front porches. So TV head walking around with an old TV, putting the TV on your porch and walking away. Doesn't ring the bell, doesn't do anything, just leaves it there. People are catching it on their like Ring cameras and stuff like that. These are residents living in the Virginia neighborhood. I guess last night Dave Michael, I sent him a text and said, "This is you, isn't it?" Because he lives right there. This is like his zone.
Oh, does he really in this area? That's funny.
He's like, "You got me." Anyway. Sounds like a great gift until you see the older box sets left at the homes. He's committed to his trade, says homeowner Jim Brooksbank. Brooks Bank, not
Brooks Bank.
not
Yeah,
Brooks
Brooks
Spank. Spank.
It's not Spank, but Brooks Bank.
No need to adjust that dial. Doorbell surveillance cameras capture the man with a TV over his head, laying an older set down on someone's porch, and then just sort of walking off. He wants to be known as the TV Santa Claus. I don't know, says Brooks Bank. The bizarre discovery happened Sunday morning in Harenko, Hampshire neighborhood. Outdated boxes were found at more than 50 homes. We got an old tube-style TV, a 13-inch, says Brooks Bank. I thought my son brought it home, but apparently not. And let's see. I'm going to find this video because you got to see this. It's in the link.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen.
It's weird.
This is great.
Isn't it weird?
It's weird, but it seems like something that somebody would do. Like, all right, I've made note of where all the houses are around that have Ring doorbells, and I want to be on the news for doing this. I would do something like this if I had the wherewithal. It would just be really funny to like go and do this and be on the news. Something weird happened in Henrico County, Virginia the other day.
You knew.
In Arvada, Colorado, a man wearing a Mr. Slim Goodbody muscle suit left Totino's pizzas on people's doorsteps.
You should do that. Let's get a Patreon level.
Now it's been done, though. TV Guy did it.
Yeah, that's true. Now TV Guy's done it. But yeah, like
plus you do run into the possibility of just getting shot.
Oh yeah,
like there is always the possibility.
Yeah, you got to be careful. I would say that this is exactly what he wanted. He wanted something to go viral, and so he did it.
Exactly.
There he is again. Puts it down. He's wearing a big jumpsuit. I kind of love this guy. It's almost like, you know, it's like one half of Daft Punk escaped and is just drunk and out doing weird shit, and the other Daft Punk's like, oh,
this does it so slowly and gently.
Yeah,
and he looks right at the camera and then turns around.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's pretty good.
Oh man,
it's pretty good. I think I love that guy. And now the cops have this fully loaded trailer full of like 50, 60 tube TVs, which nobody wants. Well done, whoever did that. You're the Banksy of our generation. Yeah. Nice job. If we didn't already have a Banksy of this generation, you'd be the Banksy of this generation. Nice work. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, my sister Wendy will be here. We got a big one to talk about. And we've been holding it for a couple of weeks, so we got a big email we're going to read, and it's going to be quite the read. Cool. Anyway, we'll get to all that in a minute. Before that,
I lost you. Oh, still there? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Do you not hear me? I see you and hear you. Do you not hear me? Hello, Brian. Hold on. I hear you fine. I hear you. You hear me.
You can hear me.
Yeah, you look fine.
You are not moving, and I'm getting nothing.
Let me see here. I'll turn off my camera, turn it on again. Am I moving now? Can you hear me now? No? Great. This is just what you want. Actually, better now than later.
It's got to be on my side. If you can hear me.
Let me see.
Let's. I do not hear you at all. Okay. So I'm going to leave the chat and then come back in.
All right. Let's see what happens there. He's left. Hello? Hello? No, nothing.
Canst thou hear me?
I hear you. Do you hear me? No, I hear you. I hear you. My mic is working. Test, 1 2 1 2. You guys hear me, right, chat? You guys hear me?
So, you guys can hear me.
They hear me, and they hear us both.
Yeah, I hear and see us both.
Let's see. I don't know what happened.
Why can I not hear you?
I will try leaving.
Why can I not hear you?
I will try leaving and come back. Okay, I'll be right back. So let's try this.
Yeah.
Leave call. Voice. Hello.
There we go.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you now.
What the heck is that about?
That was Discord playing a little joke.
Well, that's effed up.
That was effed up.
I don't get that at all. That doesn't make any freaking sense.
You could hear me that whole time, basically.
Yeah, you never changed. It was all good.
And the audience could hear both of us. It was just what was really funny.
Let's see where it started. Hold on. This generation, you'd be me. I see in a minute.
Oh yeah,
before
for me,
that?
yeah, it was basically as soon as you were getting ready to announce, and Brian will, and then stop.
Oh, and then it kicked out. That's so dumb. All right, let me start it again. Okay, we're back, everybody. That was freaking weird, but we're back. And Brian's going to play a song, and then Wendy will be here, and then off we go. Brian, what song do you have?
Well, when you think of Mobile, Alabama, you think of probably great food. You think of being on the Gulf. You think of all these great things. Do you think of reggae, Scott?
Yeah, once in a while I think of reggae, but not for any reason that I know of. I don't know why I think of reggae.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, apparently Mobile has a reggae band, and they're called Sloth Racer. They've got a brand new album called I'm Okay, and they are a reggae and rock influence band from the Gulf Coast area. High level of energy with our catchy original tunes that combine the genres of the roots of the songs and the music that inspire them. This was released last fall, the EP I'm Okay. Here is Try Again.
All right. We will be right back, everybody. Stay freaking tuned. Wait, something happened. Hold on. Oh, crap. Hold on. Yeah, things are going great today, suddenly. Okay, here we go. I got it. I found it.
In the comings and goings of everyday existence, cars have become an everyday necessity. And nobody knows it so well as we drivers.
We have entire zones dead in silence that have entirely succumbed to this unholy plague.
The morning stream. Sweep the leg.
All right, we're back, everybody. Seems to all be in order now. Oh, podcasting, you're so tricky. Sometimes.
Discord.
You're so tricky. Welcome back to the program, everyone. We are certainly glad to have you here continually as we ever forward and never backward in our lives. We got to get Wendy in here and talk about a thing. Give me 2 seconds to do that. And we'll talk to her. Let's see. This will be the last time we talk to her until she's physically here. Whether that means we'll get her on the air while she's here, I don't know. Maybe, possibly. I don't know.
That'd be so cool. Be very cool if you can.
Seemed like a good opportunity to try to pull that off. Oh, lost her. Hold on. Let's try that again. Ring. And we'll see if we can get her in here. I'm going to save again, because why not? Boy, that was weird. A whole bunch of weird things happen all at once, and I don't know why. Okay, there we go. Wendy, are you there? No, not yet. Ringing. Hello?
Hello.
Oh, hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Oh, we're fantastic. Good. I'm glad that worked. I was having some weird glitchy stuff, and I was worried it was going to affect you, but I guess we're okay now. Hey, you guys, look who it is. It's my sister, Wendy. She comes on Thursdays. We talk about stuff. You weren't here last week because you were in Chicago. So before we get going too far, I would love to know your current take on the world of Chicago. That's a cool town if you know where to go, right?
It's a super cool town. I really love it. Yeah, I mean, I had only been there one time before, and it was like November or something. So that's a very different
Very different experience. Yeah. Although it was pretty hot and muggy then if you were there in the middle of early part of August. So.
Yeah. You know, we were there like the last week of July, just before, August started, and we had absolutely perfect weather. No mugginess. 75 maybe the whole time. It was perfect.
That's great.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, Chicago, what is happening?
Global cooling.
It doesn't even exist. Anyway, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. And it was so fun to see our friends, and we got to speak Swedish the whole time, and we got to talk about people in front of them in Swedish, which was awesome.
Did you retain your Swedish stuff?
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, I think if you can hold conversations for 2 days, that's a good sign. Yeah. I was tired by the end. I was like, okay, can we just speak English because I'm tired?
I've only been there one time, and it was in the late 80s, and it was so hot, and I'd never been anywhere quite that hot. Like, that was the hottest climb, or the most humidity I'd ever experienced, because I pretty much lived out here in, western dry land all the time. And so I thought I was going to die there, but it sounds like you didn't have to deal with that. So that's fantastic.
No, yeah. It was lovely. It was lovely. And we stayed, this is funny. We rented this kind of beautiful house that has been redone. It was really nice, but it was definitely in probably a neighborhood that hasn't been safe for a long time.
Mm.
But is turning over a little bit, is just kind of in flux, you can tell.
Would that be the South Side?
It was the South Side.
Yes, I've seen Shameless.
Yeah. It was great, and people were so nice, and we had a great time. But our Swedish friends were, not a lot of Black folk in Sweden, and so they were hilariously racist about it. They were just like, "I don't think I'm safe," and I'm like, "Why don't you think you're safe?" Mm-hmm. They're like, "Well, I don't know. This neighborhood seems dodgy." I'm like, "Why?" I just kept bugging them, and they're like, "I don't know."
That sounds like
look at you, like playing therapy on them.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Sneaking it in.
But it was. I had some really interesting experiences. We could talk about this on another show. Of just like the the concept of white spaces versus black spaces. Of you sort of feel like you have the right to this and that because you're white, because that's how you've always experienced it. But I had a couple experiences on this trip that were really, it made me aware of how entitled I am, what a brat I am, and so anyway, it was an interesting cultural experience, but also just like beautiful and so fun. And the beaches near there just has this gorgeous building. I felt like I was walking back in time. Anyway, it was very fun. So we had a good time.
Well, that's good. I'm glad everything went well. We're looking forward to seeing you and the kids next week. I guess Adam's not coming yet. Some kind of promotion job.
He is not.
Thing.
So he got a job here and is starting on Monday. So
geez.
Not great timing.
It's terrible timing. Yeah. Oops.
Yeah, and I was like, I am not driving all my kids 48 hours to be there for 48 hours.
Yeah, that sounds awful. Ugh.
It does.
Yeah.
So we'll fly and then have a little. It's only 3 hours when you do it that way.
Yeah, no, it'll be great. We'll have loads of fun while you're here, and I'm pretty stoked to see your kids. I was telling her this last night, but I feel like I haven't seen her kids for so long, even though we kind of more recently have, but they were in Sweden so long, they just grew like crazy, and now one of them's like 6'1" or something, isn't he?
It's like 6'2".
6'2"? Oh my gosh, he's an inch shorter than me is all.
Are you only 6'3"? I think
you're
6'4". Are you shrinking?
Yeah, well, maybe. I don't know. Got the osteoporosis kicking in.
Physics. Gravity.
Physics, gravity.
Yeah,
they're getting big. They're fun.
I can't wait to see them. Very excited. Anyway, we'll get to today's therapeutic moment here. We take your emails sometimes. Sometimes we just talk about topics. Today's one of those email days, and we got one a couple of weeks ago that I think has sort of been just on the back burner and burning away for us to take a look at. It comes from a listener who I know fairly well as someone who's been listening and around the community for a very long time, many years, way back in the early Extra Life radio years, like 2005 and stuff. So this is I'm not going to use her name, but there's some pretty gnarly stuff to unpack in here, and so I am going to just read it as is, and Wendy will see what we can do. You all set for this?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Hey, Scott, I have an issue that is not going away. I am reaching a boiling point about it. I genuinely don't know what to do about it and thought perhaps Wendy might have some pearls of wisdom to share. Here's my background. My dad and I have always had a decent, if not particularly close relationship. He's always been sort of the world's most awkward human. He's 79 years old now and has always worshipped at the altar of Ayn Rand, and as long as I can remember, I think he has read Atlas Shrugged at 17 and has referred to it or revered it like the Bible ever since. He regurgitates her philosophies ad nauseum and considers selfishness a virtue to the point of viewing any sort of charity as socialism, which, of course, to him is the ultimate evil. I guess we should say, for those who don't know, Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged is a very controversial bit of, what do you call it? Philosophy, right?
It's very individualism is like the pinnacle, and
doing things for other people is a waste of time. It's you should never, it basically just flies in the face of anything like charity or community or any of that stuff. So some people really like it in political circles, which is also concerning. But anyway, for people who don't know, maybe go Google that and you can learn more about it. Anyway,
Google, but don't think it's the Bible.
No, please don't do that. All right. He says this. Ever since my stepmom died a couple of years ago, I have struggled to maintain a relationship with my dad. He texts me every day just to let me know he is at home and has had dinner, with the same exact text every day. Quote, I am in and have had dinner. Love, Dad. Not how was your day, not how are your kids, nothing. Just, not even when I try to spark his interest with leading questions or try to ask him about his day. He just gives very terse, very disconnected answers. He's just not interested in anything that doesn't affect him directly. Again, very Atlas Shrugged. Since my stepmom's death, my dad has gotten more and more sucked into Fox News and the cesspool of super right-wing news groups. I am politically left-leaning, particularly on social issues, where he believes that gay people should never be allowed to have or adopt children. So obviously talking about anything to do with current events is out with him. As a side note, my sister was murdered by her husband 8 years ago. And this was a rough period for her and all of us here when we learned about it. So I'm sure that some of the Fox News rabbit hole is some unrelated depression. He is a diehard atheist, so obviously church or any other religious or spiritual avenue is out. And to my knowledge, he has never been to a therapist for his grief. I would bring him to see my therapist, but she is black, and he is an old Southern white guy, complete with old Southern racism, and I don't think that would go very well. Yes. So she says, I go out of my way regularly to make sure we take him to dinner, but they have gotten more and more forced, awkward, and stilted as time has gone on. During one of the most recent ones, he talked about having gone to see Avengers Endgame and that he didn't like it. I asked if he had seen the other 22 Marvel movies in the MCU, and he said no. Well, duh, Dad, of course you didn't like it. You can't read the last chapter of an epic novel and expect to know what's going on. He said, well, I also didn't like that they made Captain America a woman. She says, huh? And told him, no, they didn't, Dad, which is true. They didn't. That's really weird. Why would he say that? I'm trying to think why he would say that.
Yeah. Well, if he's maybe thinking of the DC Captain Marvel, and...
Oh, Marvel.
That's what he's thinking.
Right. Okay. Anyway, she kind of goes into that. He says, yes, they did. I started to think, and I got a handle on what he was trying to say here. My kids were looking at him like he had lost his marbles. Do you mean Captain Marvel? Yeah, they shouldn't have made that character a woman. Dad, Carol Danvers has been Captain Marvel in the comics since 1968. And then he said, oh, well, my friend who went with me didn't like it either, and then spent the rest of the meal in silence. I don't know why that's funny. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh. It's just funny. Anyway, I tried to pivot to talking about something else, and he just remained disengaged for the rest of the meal. I guess that had to do with him being embarrassed for taking such a strong stance about something he had so completely wrong, but I'm not sure. This past weekend, we went to my cousin's wedding. Lovely young couple, both super smart with degrees in physics. She actually works at the Space Camp facility in Huntsville, Alabama. At the rehearsal dinner, my dad stands up and gives his bizarre speech about how they need to remember and keep in mind that men and women are different. That in his day, the women stayed home and the man went to work, and that women used to treat the home as a showpiece. Just as a reminder, the bride works for freaking NASA, and here's my dad yammering on about the woman making a home a showpiece. His mother worked outside the home, so do I, as did my sister. His wife worked at a vet's office up until she was diagnosed with terminal cancer. What a bizarre statement coming from someone with so many strong and independent women in his life. I'm trying not to take it personally, but it's mighty hard not to wonder what exactly he meant by that, and how he thinks that. And how he thinks that reflects on me or any of the other women in his life. I wasn't there at the rehearsal dinner, but I saw the video online later. What I did see firsthand was at the wedding. He showed up wearing a suit coat, dress shirt, tie, and cargo pants because he'd forgotten to pack his dress pants. He forgets things routinely, and I'm afraid that dementia is actually setting in. Due to this awkwardness in our relationship, though, I don't know how to approach him about maybe going to see a doctor or moving to a retirement community. I spend half my time feeling guilty that we aren't spending more time with him, and the other half being furious with him for being so disinterested, stubborn, and inappropriate, which, of course, makes it really difficult to want to spend time with him at all. It's okay that we disagree about stuff, but don't just shut down and refuse to speak further when there's a difference of opinion. Let's talk about it like adults. Or not, and we can talk about literally anything else, like my kids and what they're doing in school or whatever, but he just isn't interested in talking about anything but his personal philosophy. And if nobody in the room disagrees with him, his doctor appointments or his job, which he only does 2 days a week now. There's only so much conversation space I can fill with that stuff, but believe me, I have tried. She says, finally, any advice you can offer would be much appreciated. He's my dad, and I love him, but I don't like him at the moment. And I really don't know how to reconcile that. I hate this awkward void between us, but I can't condone him treating us like we don't matter. And to be frank, straight up hurts me that he's spewing his misogynistic crap, or garbage is the word she used. Thanks. We'll keep her anonymous. So that's a lot of stuff.
That is a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Where's the first suture here? I don't even know where you start.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, first, some acknowledgement. He's 79. He's converted to Ayn Rand at 20. That's a lot of years.
He's entrenched.
He's pretty entrenched. I mean, which kind of leads to this idea. She sort of, what I hear in it is just this longing for like a relationship with her dad, right? At its core, that's all of us want something like that. I mean, everyone's on some part of a spectrum here with wanting a relationship with a parent, right? So on one end, it's I absolutely want nothing to do with that person, but the only reason you could ever get there is because at some point you did and you were hurt enough. So then you eventually shell up and protect yourself, right? And then move along the gamut. She's somewhere probably moving towards that direction, but just kind of in the middle there to the other side where, you know, I desperately want a relationship with a parent and feel listened and heard. And sometimes I get that, sometimes I don't. But that the sort of spectrum of desire about a relationship, you know, we can all be at different places at different times, and that's okay. We do, and we've talked about this on the show before, sort of the archetype of a mother or father or partner or whatever, the perfect version that we sort of have. It's kind of like it's an imprint in all of us, and we either have something kind of close to it or not. And then part of our struggle in life is dealing with that. You know, I don't know if you've known someone who it seems like their parent was perfect, like, oh, they're so lucky their dad is blah, 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 or their mom is blah, blah, blah. And they may agree with you, but they often don't. I've had that experience where, you know, from the outside, you're like, wow, you have such cool parents. And they're like, nah, you know, or whatever.
Sure.
So, okay. So that's sort of at the forefront. I want to paint that picture of like, this is not abnormal. It's got a special flavor to it. And humans like to have connecting values, beliefs, even like, oh, that's my favorite song too. You know, we have all sorts of ways that say, hey, tribally, we're safe with one another. And when your father has a very different set of values and the way he thinks about things, and then he's got some sort of old age inflexibility on top of it, can feel really disconnecting. Like we aren't even in the same tribe. Like how, and so she's got the sort of age old guilt for anything that happens. It either works or like it doesn't work when we are together. And so that's so frustrating. And because I'm needing to feel more connection, more tribalism there a little bit, to use that word. But then when I'm not with, but it makes you crazy. You feel like, oh my gosh, I can't handle this, because you really are not connecting. And then you walk away and you feel guilty because it's that familial connection and that sort of biological response to this is my dad. So maybe that was overly academic way of looking at her situation, but it really is not uncommon and to some extent expected. She just has a flavor that's tricky, right? And so what does she do? So I want to ask you, I'm going to throw it to you guys first. What does she do with this dynamic, in your opinion, because thinking in terms of connection as she's seeking, and then, you know, also this person is no longer a father figure, but that's kind of what she still wants from him.
Yeah, because you'd hate for something to happen to him, and he's 79. He's you know, not getting any younger, and you'd hate for something to happen to him and them not to have this relationship, you know, for her to have this regret that she didn't try hard enough to find that connection, which it sounds like she's tried many times to to make that connection. So yeah, that is the toughest part of this is how do you reach somebody who just seems like they don't want to be reached, you know?
My experience, I had a recent experience that made me wonder if this has anything to do with it. Wendy, you can tell me if I'm smoking crack or if this is relevant. But because Taylor's life since she was married and now since Van was born has been very busy. She's extremely busy taking care of the baby, and she's doing a really great job at that and being very meticulous about eating schedules, sleeping schedules, like really trying to do all the stuff you're supposed to do for this little guy. And, you know, Dylan's busy working, and they're, you know, trying to balance checkbooks and keep everything all on par. You know, just that's life. That's young life, and it's great. And it's fun to watch them do that, and I'm proud of them and all of that. But one thing I did notice about it is it meant that the bonding time you would have normally, it was being diminished, that I would have with her. So father-daughter time was less. And I would notice that father-daughter time with Carter was at an all-time high because I'm seeing her all the time. She's still living here. She's, you know, she works in the day, but she's home at night. We still collaborate and do stuff all the time. So that kind of bonding was you know, experiencing a renaissance, while Taylor and I, it's not like we felt like we were drifting apart by any stretch. It's just that everyone's so busy, we're just not having it. Yeah, it's just not having time to do it or the opportunity to do it. And I didn't really notice it, or I couldn't. This wasn't even a thing I would have brought up or said until we had 4.5 hours in a car together the other day. To go to this wedding up at the Salt Flats and perform that wedding and then do her photo stuff and then come home. We had all that time in the car going up and down that I suddenly found myself in full bond mode time with the daughter again. Like not since high school probably have we had this kind of time together where it's just her and me and it's the open road and nothing else, and the conversations are either happening or they're not. And we talked like crazy, and it was wonderful, and I loved every second of it. And it did feel like a reconnection, like not the reconnecting of something that was broken, but a reconnecting of a level of intensity that we didn't used to, we haven't had for a while because it's just, again, it's been impossible. And so that made a huge impact on me. It's affected me all week in really positive ways, and I loved that time we had together. And I felt like weirdly, we were already close, but I felt closer to her as a result. And I think she felt the same. And we just laughed. And it was also the first time in a long time where her and I could just, all the conversations are very adult conversations. It's about her raising kids and what it's like for Dylan to change jobs. And, you know, it's not about high school. It's not about some girl being mean to her or, you know, putting her phone away at dinner. You know, all those things are done. We're done with that. We're now in this new phase, right? So that was just a really rad thing, and I loved it. And I wonder if in this particular case, if there aren't opportunities or weren't opportunities for that to happen with the two of them, that either they just missed or they could happen now and they just don't realize that they could do that. Like just her and him spend some time together. Maybe that would open some of that up. Or is that just is it too simple and are we way too far down the road for that?
No, not at all. I think it's a great suggestion. It just has to look very differently because I'm pretty sure you and Taylor probably have some similar tribal connections.
And it feels like you're willing to make that connection with her. Right. It doesn't feel like
and craving it yourself, right? But
Exactly.
actually, Brian, I think that is a really good point because I am going to argue that your dad, friend, emailer, craves absolutely to feel like he's loved and wanted and needed and important. Every human does, but he does not have the skills to get it, right? Like. And some of this protectionism is what I'm going to call it, right? Like not openness to others' thoughts or, you know, being alarmed that there's a woman superhero. Like there's some, you know, you can just think, well, duh, misogynist or that's horrible or how ignorant or whatever. But if you really think of what some of that stuff sort of demonstrates maybe is that it's change is scary. It's hard. I don't know what to do with that. I'm alone. I'm hearing the same thing repetitively on Fox News. That feels comforting. Like there's no nuance. I don't have to, and I think Ayn Rand, honestly, there's a bit of like, here's a philosophy for you to live your life with, and you can discount all the people who are weak and have no merit. Like, it's a simple philosophy. It really is, in the end, of just how to understand the world. And so no one does that who doesn't maybe feel like there's some scary stuff out there, right? So maybe that hunkering down is a part of being vulnerable and trying not to feel vulnerable. But at his core, like anyone's, he wants to connect. So take his little comment about the movie. That is a very poorly skilled way of connecting with a family, is to rip on Thanos and his plan. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that's not the way to get close to someone.
Right.
But maybe he just doesn't know how to do that at this point. It may be even too late for him to learn some of those skills. So this is where we get into what that spending time, what you do spending time can be different. So your picture of spending time with a daughter you're already bonded with, like extra bonding, I mean, that's very idyllic and great and yeehaw for you. And then, but when someone has not ever had that, they're not going to try to create that. What she needs to try to create is a setting where he feels a little more loved and safe, and she lets go of some of her need for that. So both have the same exact need, and you and Taylor could drive in a car and both get that need.
Yeah.
When they're together, what happens is, and this is often true when people differ sort of ideologically on things, is they're having the opposite of, hey, oh, I love that song. Oh, I love that song. Like when you say, oh, my favorite band is, or I love that comedian, and they're stupid. You're like, and we're not connected, and we should have that. We shouldn't all agree on all the same things. But what ends up happening is he says something sexist or misogynistic or dumb or whatever, and it just gets your hackles up because it's the opposite.
Just puts a wall up.
Yeah.
It does. And so this is where with her fully functioning brain, can do this. This is up to her. He's not going to change much. Is my assumption, right? But the things that she can do is think of it as sort of changing her perspective on stuff a little bit. So one way, there's a great podcast, and I will never know how to find it because it was a long time ago. But this may sound familiar to somebody. It was a story of this woman whose mother had dementia. And it was turning into Alzheimer's. It was Alzheimer's. And, she was losing this relationship. And it was so frustrating. And the reason it's so frustrating, of course, is that you're losing the person. You're losing the response back that says, hey, I'm still present. You know me, I know you, when you don't remember what just happened, or you're forgetting all of those things. That's why it's such a torturous disease for those people who love those folks, is you're losing them slowly. And there are these, hey, we're not in the same tribe, gut punches all the time, if that makes sense. And so what's interesting is this woman and her partner, her husband, were improv people. Like they did it, improv comedy, improv whatever, all the time. That was like their jam. And this woman watched her husband interacting with her mother in this amazing way. He just did improv. So it was always yes and. So whatever garbage came out, we were like, yes, and da 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 da. And they would go on these long trails down whatever road, because none of it's making sense. But when you say, no, Mom, that's not it. That's not right. That's not true. Then you've stopped, right? And so she had this great epiphany of she could, and this her mother was just delighted in spending time with her husband. So he got to be with her, even though it wasn't always making sense and wasn't, but this yes and concept can be really powerful. So you don't have to go, women are dumb and don't read any books they write, and go, yeah, Dad, great idea. But there is a version of yes and with him that you could test out to see what does happen. So Scott, your point's a great one. Be alone with him. Take him to dinner. You keep wanting him to care about your kids, but he's not going to potentially ever, or he's not going to until he feels like he's cared for. And you're going, hello, I've cared for him all this time. Well, maybe in this different way,
and that's a point that she brings up. She's actually in the chat room, and she said, she's tried being kind of having alone one-on-one time to bond with him. She took care of him after he had neurosurgery, and they basically both sat there in silence looking at their phones. And I'm thinking, all right, well, that's because he's in a position where he feels like she's obligated to take care of him. Whereas if the two of them went out to dinner or did something that was not a caregiver situation or not a feel like an obligation situation, like going out to dinner, he might have a different perspective.
Right. And here's the main key here. Stop expecting anything from him. And this is hard. This is like saying, if you went to a 7-year-old child and said, don't expect your parents to nurture you, love you, feed you, take care of you. You're like, yeah, impossible. And we're all 7. We're all 7. So it's always a shock when the person who is supposed to be raising us is unable to do a thing that we need, even though, of course.
Even at 79, my mom's what, 81?
81, yeah.
And, faculty-wise, she's doing all right. But there's parts of her now where she'll say something or do something, and I'll go, you're supposed to be a mom. Like, you can't ever take the role out of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you should be able to, because she's 81 and, I just turned 50. We're well past the nurturing, teen years. So I shouldn't have that block, but you still do. It's still like, well, I see you're that person.
You do. And you should, because what would take it away? Nothing takes that away. However, using some Jedi mind tricks, you can make this so much easier, which is, number one, accepting him for who he is. So I hear this and I go, oh, you poor thing. Don't we wish your dad was different? And of course you wish your dad was different. But guess what? He is who he is. So it's really hard to find the joy in who this guy is if you always want him to be something else. So just flip this for a second. When your parent wants you to be something else, are you ever yourself? Are you ever safe? Are you ever? No. Some of the biggest damage parents do to children is have some decided role, etc., for them, how they act, who they are, what they do. I mean, then that person doesn't have the freedom to be themselves and figure who that is. So we've just flipped that for a second. He is not safe to be himself. And you're not letting him be that. Now, I know it's like crazy. Like, I get what I'm saying. But if you can find a way to, I don't know, meditate a lot before, and to really take a deep breath and just really try to see him, really listen to him, ask questions. Don't make it about you. One dinner, you can do it. One dinner where it is not about, why is he not being a dad? Why is he not caring about my kids? Why is he stupid about MCU?
All expectations out the window.
Gone. And you're imagining you're meeting a random old guy at a restaurant, and your job is to understand who he is, what he cares about, what he thinks, and do not insert yourself one bit. Just do it for one
Almost
dinner.
Like you're doing an interview kind of thing.
Kind of, yeah. And also, like, when he gets crazy and says stuff that's like, oh boy, then you just go, oh boy. All right, well, that's good to know that's really in there.
You go, where can people find you online?
At the end.
Let's end the interview, yeah.
right, exactly. Well, and also maybe there is this it's this practice of, if dementia is on its way, improv is the answer. I mean, it really is you're going to, I hear a lot of shutting down, silent, don't know what to say to each other, don't know where to go. I mean, that occurs, sort of there's a teenage relationship here that continues to exist, which is, it's not safe for me to really say what I think. And both of you are experiencing it, but you're the grown up in the room now. And that's the hardest part. We want, our parents are supposed to be above us. And there comes a day in every single person's life where that switches. And either the parent dies suddenly and then you're grieving and you're sort of lucky in that regard. Or there's the sort of slow decline where they turn into the children and now you're the adult. And guess what? That's coming for you as well. And so this cycle of life is tricky. And we don't have classes for this. We don't talk about this. This is so developmentally normal. It happens to everyone. but it's exhausting, and we feel alone, and we don't know what skills this takes to learn. We can't like prep for this very well. And so, I mean, this kind of shorthand. I think, Scott, you sent me the link for that. It was
Yeah, it seems like, I think it was a Fresh Air interview, or it's the same woman and she's doing the rounds on it. And I think it may have been another show like Radio Lab or something, but it's this audio here. And I was reading the transcript, is very similar to what you were talking about. So
okay.
This might be.
So yeah, I think it might have been Radio Lab actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it's like, all right, emailer, get a little meditation practice going. Give yourself a couple of weeks of that so it's effective. And then make sure you listen to this podcast. Get yourself geared up to not making this fun dinner with your dad about you. Mm-hmm. It's so hard because we're all egocentric. We are. And so how they say, someone says something and how does that affect me? I mean, it's just second nature. But if you can sort of channel this, just be curious and non-judgmental and open, see what he does. I guarantee he's going to be surprised. And maybe you're going to hear some things you didn't know. Maybe it's one of a few dinners that need to happen. This isn't maybe just one magic bullet, but I think there is a chance for you to have a relationship with your dad, but a couple things have to shift. And that is not him doing anything differently. It's you creating a little bit of safety and letting go of needing him to do all these other things that the archetypal dad would do. It would be a given that your dad would care about your kids and ask about them and do all the things.
Right.
And you know what? I meet people whose dads do all of those things and they still have a problem with their archetypal thing isn't quite being fulfilled.
Right.
So expectations sort of the, killing the chance for connection here.
Right. Since she's in the chat, it's been good to have sort of the back and forth.
For sure, yeah.
About this stuff, and I hope we get a follow up from her, because the one thing we kind of glossed over that is a thing that must be mentioned is that her sister was murdered by her husband 8 years ago. Not her husband, the husband of the sister.
Yeah, the sister. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And when this happened, it was awful, and there were news stories, and I'd actually seen a news story about it before. I had heard from her directly that this was her sister, and I just could not believe that. You always you see these things on TV or in the news, and you just go, "Oh, that's a thing that's happening, and it's horrible and awful," but it's someone else, and I can't relate exactly because I don't know them, and this is really nothing that ever happens to me or people I know. And that was like the first time I'd ever seen something like that. It's like, oh my gosh, I know this person. How must this feel to have it be their sister? And then you start having all these feelings like, what if that was my sister? Or what if that was, like it's just it got real close real quick. And I don't know how much of this has to do with his unwillingness to have dealt with that. It feels like a lot. It would be a lot for me. Like, I would not be in a good position if this was something, if I was a dad and one of my daughters was killed by the, horrible dude that married her. I don't know how I'd handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean,
it would be a Steven Seagal film is what it would turn into.
It probably would
right.
be. I'd go on for revenge.
Or in this guy's case, probably a massive part of you shuts down.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Like you, and you, I forgot about that part of the email. You're right.
Yeah.
Just very much protectionistic. That makes a lot of sense why you just kind of don't trust anything new and different. I mean, if you think about sort of how we're built, it's all happy-go-lucky until we start getting hurt, right? Mm. And then you have to protect yourself. And so, being close to you may be very terrifying because he can lose you. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's some maybe really deep stuff here that you don't know is affecting his behavior exactly. And he sure doesn't know how to talk about it or work it through with somebody. So, I mean, that's right. That makes a lot of sense.
That just feels enormous to me. Like, how could it not be the biggest elephant in the room possible if he's not dealing with it, if he's not facing it, or if he's shutting himself off from all other kinds of emotional interaction because he doesn't want to ever go through that again. I mean, I don't know. But
and his wife died, and he's sort of left on his own and grieving, and it'd be hard to say, let me get real close to your kids okay, because something bad could happen to them too. You know, it may be one of the reasons he does some of the things, and then he just doesn't have the skills to sort of have these relationships work well, you know?
Right.
So heartbreak is a powerful thing for sure. And obviously she's lost a sister. It's her own, you know, that's got to be part of her story, of course, too. And then also just maybe the longing for this closeness when you're all you got at this point or whatever, you know what I mean? Like it affects everything. So what we need to do is put you two in a StoryCorps booth in New York City.
Yep. People could benefit from that. Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, those are crazy cool, the way those have affected people, that StoryCorps thing, the booth.
It's amazing.
Yeah, you'll get people in there that would otherwise never talk about any of this stuff. And there's something about them knowing that they're on a mic.
Safe space or something.
Yeah, but they're also on a mic, and it may be shared publicly, but it's like, I don't know, it's like you have to.
Weird.
You've agreed to do it, so it's voluntary, but you also now are in a position where you feel like you have to talk it out. I don't know if that would work in this case.
Yeah,
or not,
and the way the room is set up, I mean, it's psychological genius.
It's pretty smart stuff.
It is really amazing. Real quick too, and you know, as he's maybe needs to see a doctor or move into some care facilities. I mean, this is only going to get harder. And so maybe there's just this sort of window, and maybe you think about it like, okay, for the next 6 months, I'm going to zen out and hang out with him and have no expectations and see where things can go. Because at some point you'll probably be needing to help him do some of these other things. And that's going to be pretty hard. Especially when he, you know, maybe doesn't trust all of the people in his life.
Yeah.
So yeah, not to sound scary, but this is usually old age doesn't make things better.
No.
Doesn't make it easier with time.
Makes it harder. I put the link to that episode thing in the chat. Hopefully that's helpful as well, because I remember that same thing. You and I listen to kind of the same shows, I think, and I remember that conversation. It was kind of eye-opening because I recognized a lot of the same frustration in her email that I did in that woman's story until they just like flipped the script. And you know, not that this is he's not diagnosed with this or anything at this point. Like we're in a different stage with her dad, obviously, but that was just, it was fascinating. And they recorded, that's why I'm sure it was Radiolab or something, is they recorded a lot of stuff at home with the parent, with the mother that was slipping away, and they had all this crazy audio, and it was really good. I wish there was another way to track that down. Someone in the chat will be smart and they'll find it.
Okay.
No pressure. All right. Well, that's great. No more problems to solve until Wendy gets here next weekend, when there will be a big handful of them in our own family dynamic. That'll be good. No, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing everybody. And it turns out we're gonna be hosting a bunch of it here. Kim's really stoked to make food for everybody, and we're gonna have a great time. So excited to see everybody. It's gonna be weird though, because it's not having Adams there is weird, but also all the kids that used to be kids are all kind of grown up now, and so yours are the kids now. It's just yours. It's weird.
I know.
Yeah.
So we need all these like 25-year-olds to take my 7-year-old swimming.
Yeah, there's plenty of stuff to do, and hopefully all the 20-somethings are going to enjoy that, because I think it sounds like a blast. We're going to do a little art camp for Carter and I for Wendy's kids, and I just feel like the kids are the funnest part, because once they're gone, like, what's the point of any of this? Like, we can all just kind of get together for lunch sometime, but you know what I mean? Like, it's way more fun with kids. So I'm glad your kids are coming.
We need more babies. Get those babies.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I remember I'm in this weird position of like Taylor's schedule with the baby and what's the most convenient for her. And Misha's sort of like, yeah, I mean, you can take a baby anywhere. And I'm like, no. It was only 7 years ago. I remember this.
Yeah, she forgot.
So if you want a sleeping happy baby, you don't just take him everywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm the Gen X, dude. That's what I am.
Yep, Gen X. I was the
I'm
top
the
end.
bridge.
You're the lower end. Hopefully these millennials work out, and Generation Z, good luck is all I'm saying to them. Good luck, Nick, and all your friends. All right. Well, we'll see you next week. May you have safe travels and all of that, and we'll talk then. Bye now.
Bye.
See you in.
She was speechless at the end. Speechless.
Well, I heard a little click like her microphone shut off for a second, so she might have said something more. I don't know.
Yeah, she may have something brilliant to say, and I missed it. You never know.
Oh, no. It wasn't that. No.
No, nothing brilliant was said. All right, that's the end of today's show, and that doesn't mean it's the end of our broadcast week, though, because tomorrow at 3:30 Mountain Time, we will have a TMS PM. We will have, of course, Brian back for that after a week, and we will do all the things we do on PM. Very excited about it. It'll be great. There will be an instance tomorrow morning, absolutely 100% guaranteed. And the rest of the day today, I don't know. We had to push core last night to today, so that's probably tonight at 7. But everything else in between, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't know what's happening. I'm going to seriously take a nap because I feel like garbage. Well, it's just, you
definitely sound down.
A little under the weather, like just something
beaten down.
I got a little something, a little bug, a little something. I haven't had like a proper virus in a while, so this is probably good. You gotta go.
About time for a proper virus.
Yeah, get in there, get your white blood cells going. Do the stuff, hang out with them. That's right, Gene. You're gonna take a nap with Rainer in the hammock. That'd be good. Anyway,
perfect. That's one of your 10 items too.
It is one of my 10 items right here.
Mm-hmm.
Nap with the dog, number 4. Boom.
There you go.
Don't forget, you can support this show and all of its surrounding nonsense at patreon.com/TMS. We do not burn through 40 grand worth of weed a month, so we could use your help to just survive. That'd be awesome.
We need to be able to afford 40 grand of weed every month, everybody. So please support us on Patreon. I'm just kidding.
Yes, please do that. Patreon.com/TMS. No weed will be bought with your contributions.
No.
Patreon.com/TMS. Also at frogpants.com/TMS for everything else. You want to email us, themorningstream@gmail.com, including stuff for Wendy if you have it. You can also leave us voicemails at 801-471-0462. That's 801-IS-10-HAMS. That's it. Brian, music, please.
Yes, sir.
Have you some?
All right. This one is going out to Matt JH13. He says, hello, Shootin' Buggy. I'm celebrating 365 days of marriage to my amazing, beautiful wife, Andrea, on August 11th. Where'd that come from, Andrea? Oh, that's Moon Unit. That's Valley Girl.
Right.
What's your name? Andrea.
We just talked about that. That's great.
Probably Andrea on August 11th. I'd like to request a song anytime around that date to celebrate a woman so gorgeous and loving as her being willing to marry a man like me. I don't have anything specific in mind. I trust your expertise will provide a wonderful song for the occasion. Thank you. Keep up the amazing work, Matt H.
Nice.
Well, absolutely, Matt H. And it's funny because I don't know if Scott was seeing our shared folder where I sent him the music, but I actually had 3 different songs in there that I put in there and like, oh no, that's not a good one for this, because lyrics maybe weren't like, they were cool songs, cool covers, but maybe not appropriate. So I'm saving them for next week. But this one definitely feels like it's appropriate and great. This one came out on a tribute to Paul McCartney back in 2001 called Coming Up. It's performed by the Gadget White Band, and it's a cover of Maybe I'm Amazed.
All right, there it is. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you all for being here. We'll see you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
I had to finish my lunch.
I love that guy. Well done, everybody. Good show.
Yeah.